Senate Bill SB 1485. Short title, Early Voting List Eligibility. This bill is one that, it was amended with a strike everything amendment, and a lot of times we don't like those, but this happens to be one of the better ones. It was introduced by Senator UGENTI-RITA, and it will be heard in the House Government and Elections Committee on Wednesday. This would be a good time to point out, we haven't been doing this, but it's a good idea to remind folks that you're seeing all these Senate bills being heard in the House. That's because they cleared the Senate and now they went back and started the process all over again in the House. And vice versa, whatever cleared the Senate goes to the House, whatever cleared the House goes to the Senate. Anyway, House Government and Elections Committee on Wednesday, it passed the Senate 16-14, and that means, well, it was along party lines, and again, we have a situation where all the Democrats are opposed to this bill. And this is what the bill does, very simply. It says that if you are part of what used to be called, and if this bill succeeds, it will no longer be called permanent early vote. It will be just early voting. It should not be permanent, but regardless, what happens here is that if you have not used it in 2 consecutive cycles, in other words, 2 years where there was a
primary and general election.
Primary and a general, and 2 cycles, not just 1, but 2, and you have not voted early, then you're removed from that list. Now, they make it sound like this is to curtail, this is voter restriction. No, you can still vote, you can still re-register, you can still do all, not re-register, but reapply to be put on the ballot. You're given every opportunity to remain on the early ballot. It does not in any way, shape, or form affect your ability to vote. All it does is that if you don't use it, they take you off, so you can always start all over again. But there is a stiff opposition from the Democrats, and I don't understand why. Some people who are more, some people would say that it's because these early ballots are a good source of potential fraud, and so maybe that's the case, but regardless. It's going to be in the House Government and Elections Committee, and my take on that is that we should contact the legislators and express our support for this bill.
I agree with part of it. I disagree with part of it.
Okay.
If you're on the early voting list, which, if this passes now, it'll be early voting list, not permanent early voting list. And getting rid of the word permanent, I think, is probably a pretty good idea, since not many things are permanent. But what it provides is that if you fail to vote in a primary and a general election for 2 separate provisions of elections, that's a minimum of over 4 years between the time that you didn't vote. So there's 4 years that you failed to mail in your ballots. Now, under the provisions of this, if that happens, you're removed from the list where ballots are sent out to you at your home, and you can sit at your dining room table and fill them out and mail them back in. I think that's a great idea. What I disagree with it about is that it says if they send you that notice out that you've been removed from the early voting list, then they basically have to beg you to sign up again. I disagree with that. There's nothing in this bill that removes your ability to cast your ballot in any election that you want to appear and cast your ballot in. But I don't think that the county needs to be expending money, sending out letters to you, begging you to sign up to be on the early voting list. There's precincts that all you got to do is get in your car and drive 5 or 10 minutes to the precinct, get out of your car, wait in line, and vote, just like me and everybody else that does it. So no, I'm totally against the provision of begging somebody that's been removed to get back on it. I think that's ridiculous.
Well, but we have to go with what, unless the bill is amended somewhere along the line, and it's not likely to happen, it's a good bill, in my opinion, so I would vote for it.
I would too, but I'd probably offer an amendment to get rid of that provision. But then I'm not a member of the legislature.
Well, but we made the suggestion.
I know, we made the
They don't
suggestion.
listen to us.
No, they won't.
If they
They won't.
did, they might just do that.
That's like, you remember that thing I said about 99.9% have no control over what happens in the
No,
legislature?
we have no
Yeah.
control over
Yeah,
what happens in
yeah.
the legislature.
You
We're
and
just
I
sitting
don't.
here.
They're gonna do what they wanna do.
Yeah, but at least we can complain and bitch and moan about it.
That's
can't we?
right, yeah, and I do that a lot, yeah.
Yeah, so do I.